Bear with me.
One, two, 1, 2. Okay. Now how's the sound? 1, 2, 1, 2. Microphone check. Okay. Now how's the sound? All right. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go straight to the nitty-gritty and let you hear it. Now the first part is really mild, just like an intro. The second excerpt that I will play, that's a real deal. And this time my estimation will uh, be correct. It will be about well, it's 15 minutes. See, the first excerpt is less than 1 minute. The second excerpt will be about 15 minutes, and I will make some commentary after. So first, I'm sharing the screen. All right. So for the record, The video is from the Pseudo Killers channel. 1,500 subscribers. That video was posted a couple of days ago. It has 2,000 views, and the title is "Out of Control When Going to Egypt Goes Wrong. Conscious Community Gone." I guess they meant to write mad. There's an extra E. Now the minute, as you can see, is 2:06:03. All right, let's listen up.
And simply, like, again, these are basically cults. I won't say to a bad or a good, but it's a group of people believing in some delusional thing. How can you say you're being a Kemetic priest when we can establish and know for a fact that that culture, the language is dead? There is no linear process by which means you can tell me you know what they are talking about. At least the biblical guys got their book and they got a chronological history going back at least 2,000 years. I can give them that much. But you're ascribing to a dead culture, a dead language.
Let me say
We
this.
pretend as if we can actually speak this language. It is crazy to me.
Have you heard what he said about Christianity? At least they have a book and some history that goes back to like 2,000 years. And I'm paraphrasing, but you just heard it. You can go back. So at least the Bible, they have their book. You know what I'm saying? So apparently the Christians have more legitimacy than Kemetic people. That's the conclusion that we can make. But like I told you, this is just an appetizer. That's nothing compared to what you will hear now. At this time, I'm going to go to minute 2:11:37.
Like the whole thing is like, even if, let's say they was practicing for real, authentic, 100% ancient Egyptian culture, right?
They're not.
Let's say they was, right?
Mm-hmm.
In 2020, that shit is slap crazy in 2022. That shit is crazy as I don't give a damn what religion it is.
Yeah, with the outfit.
It's ridiculous and it's crazy at this point. All of them crazy. Yeah. The paint, the dress up, the nicknames, all of the shit is slap, stupid, crazy. Every last one of them. Learning the meta nature, the shit is a waste of time. It ain't gonna benefit you enough. If it make you feel good, fine. I ain't mad at you if it gives you your artistic feeling, whatever. I don't know what the hell it do for you, whatever. Fine, whatever. The shit don't make you know nothing about archaeology. It don't make you know nothing about the field of linguistics. It don't make you an authority on Egypt. None of that shit. I can read and tell you what the Egyptians said themselves. What they said. Man, shut the fuck up.
Everybody get in trouble right now.
Wait. I think,
Shit, Corey.
hold on. In regards to
You on your own this one, Corey.
No, I ain't no hold on.
No, you on your own.
Shut the fuck up with that wild ass, like this community, that crazy ass community done ran rampant with Egypt. They done ran off the fucking cliff. You know how the herd just follow the rest of the motherfuckers on up? They done, all of them done ran off the goddamn cliff.
So people like you, Corey,
with Egypt.
Or people who
people like me. Listen. People like me got
disrespecting
common goddamn sense.
I understand.
And the niggas
No,
sitting
you don't.
around learning medu. Let me tell you this.
hold on. Wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Corey rant.
Yeah.
Corey rant is in effect.
Any nigga that's sitting around giving a fuck about Egypt, learning medu nature in 2020, living in the United States of America, is crazy and broken.
So, nigga, why you dressed up in your African robe?
Nigga, I'm a 100%
Corey's views does
Ghanaian.
not represent
I'm a
everybody in
citizen.
the pseudo.
I'm a direct.
Why you dressed up, Corey?
I'm not dressed up like an Egyptian.
No. You got tennis shoes on.
Ghanaians wear every day, you dumb nigga.
Yeah, I understand, but why do you practice the culture?
Every day. And I'm a Ghanaian
practice the culture.
citizen.
Why you dressed up, Corey?
Because I'm a Ghanaian citizen.
Oh, but see, you're doing the same pseudo
and Ghanaians
shit.
Dress like that every single goddamn day.
Yeah, I understand that,
I
but
think
you're
it's
not in
Melvin
Ghana.
Falls from Ghana, yo. I think it's Melvin Falls from Ghana.
Listen,
I understand, but what I'm just trying to say is that
ain't
you're
no
doing the
Egyptians
same. You're
running
doing
around.
a similar thing.
Listen. I'm gonna end up putting you on mute. Ain't no Egyptians running around with that bullshit on that you niggas is claiming.
Yeah,
they ain't running around.
Hey, but
like
Corey,
Jabbar.
part of the process.
They're not running around with a fucking
Corey. I learned it in Black Studies in the
Reggie
university.
gonna get a chance, Reggie. Reggie gonna get a chance.
You're gonna get a chance to tell me how great that bullshit is, because y'all been telling me that shit for 15 years now.
Corey Rant, let him go.
Hotep, my brother. Remy this and Rodney Kemet that. Man, shut the fuck up. Run around Baba and all of these old, shut the fuck up. You niggas is slap stupid crazy. Every one of you niggas, if you ain't scamming, listen very carefully. If you ain't scamming and you doing the Rodney Kemet bullshit, you broke as a motherfucker. Shut the fuck up. Now go ahead, Reggie. Tell me how beautiful Kemet is, and give me all of the hearts and the soft and warm shit about Kemet, because I don't give a fuck about it. Because they now
Dr. Ben would agree with you though. You know that, though, right?
Osiris, listen. Osiris, Khanum, Jehudi, and one of them motherfuckers giving a fuck about I'm talking about not one of you niggas. And all you niggas got tattoos. You niggas got outfits. You niggas got goddamn it, names. Man, get the fuck out of here. Get you a goddamn a career. A fucking career. Not a goddamn hobby. I mean, motherfuckers fly kites for a goddamn hobby. Man. That's the same shit the Medinetia is on. It's kite flying. And I'm not mad at motherfuckers flying kites, because I can go down to the beach right now, right? Down to Lake Michigan, and motherfuckers got some badass kites. There's some real kite enthusiasts, right? But they don't dedicate their life, and they ain't thinking that they are fucking expert on aerodynamics because they know about a fucking kite, bro. They not fucking telling NASA they don't know what the fuck they talking about because they fly kites for a goddamn hobby. That's what these niggas is doing. These niggas is kite flying niggas, right? Man, listen, motherfuckers be thinking I'm crazy in the motherfucker, right? But they only be mad because I be telling the truth. I mean, what nigga, what real nigga, look, just listen to this. Listen for real. I mean, cut the bullshit, right? Cut the bullshit, right? Listen. What nigga, what everyday average nigga you can go outside and talk to, and you say the word Medunetia to the motherfucker, right? That he even have a half a piece of clue what the fuck you talking about.
That's the problem.
It don't fucking matter, right? What matters here in 2020 as a black man living in these United States of America here.
2022.
With 2022, right? What matters here, right, is understanding about politics, right? Knowing of having a understanding, a good grasp on economics, right? Understanding science and technology, recognizing right here, right now in 2022, scamming is at an all-time high, right? You can look at the FBI things, right? Between white supremacy and the scam shit, right? The shit is going off the goddamn charts. They haven't even got enough staff to goddamn handle the bullshit, the scams and the white supremacy, right? Understanding how, whether you being duped or not, right? Understanding how to read contracts and scientific journals and shit, medical documents and shit like that. Those are the things to be learning how to fucking read, not the goddamn meta-nature. From some nigga that used to live with Dr. York. You gotta be slap fucking stupid crazy in 2022, right? You got niggas talking about Shaka convinced them so much they was gonna leave a family and move in with Shaka. Like, get the fuck out of here. You have to recognize when you being duped, when you being tricked. That's what the pseudo killers is all about. We ain't about writing no motherfucking book, man. Fuck you and your piece of shit ass book, nigga. I ain't writing no goddamn book. I don't give a fuck about none of them goddamn books. Them motherfuckers, you niggas ain't sold none of them motherfucking books to no motherfucker but a crazy motherfucker on YouTube. You sold it to motherfucking Pure Black or some motherfucker. That's the only motherfucker that want to buy that bullshit. Man, shut the fuck up with that bullshit. Like, the pseudo killers ain't having that shit, bro. And you can be mad and y'all can call us hoes and bitches and throw your gun and all that bullshit. But the real, for real, is if you niggas ain't scamming, you being scammed. If any of you niggas selling that shit, promoting that shit, any of that bullshit, right? If you ain't scamming, you being scammed. Cut the bullshit out. It's 2022. We can't be selling black folks' dreams. We can't tell them, oh, Egypt, Nubian princess, and all of this old bullshit you niggas be saying. Like Reggie said, man, this is the shit. All these niggas trying to get a piece of pussy. The whole camping trip, they go on a goddamn camping trip to Disney World, to the Black Disney World, right? To the Blackology Disney World, which is Egypt, right? They take their funky ass on a camping trip, and all they want to do is fuck and break the laws of the local people, acting a goddamn fool and shit. You know what I'm saying? But damn near finna, they don't even know you be done cause a goddamn war between us and some motherfucker because you fucking around over there. And man, y'all gotta we gotta be, it's all about reality. It's all about reality. And these niggas ain't selling no fucking reality. Oh, with the Greenberg and there's no genetic relationship, and we'll do it. And then the motherfucker comes show a genetic relationship. Well, you can't listen to Stanford. You can't listen to the Britannica. Who is Britannica? Britannica is the white man. Bullshit. Snake oil salesman bullshit. And it's so crazy, right? Because the game is so old and phony. It's all snake oil salesman game. All of it's all snake oil salesman game. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, right, everybody, motherfucker gonna hear this video, and then I'm gonna be hoes and bitches and all the rest of it and all that shit, right? You know what I'm saying? All these internet thug ass niggas, right? They want to call hoes and bitches on the internet. Like, who does that? No, I told Unc, right? In 40 years, right? I done been shot in the head and everything, right? In 40 years, no grown man has ever called me a hoe or a bitch to my face, ever. I've never heard a grown man refer to me as a whore or a bitch in real life. Never, ever, ever, ever in my life. Never. I've never heard that before. I'm not saying I'm a tough guy, because I'm not a tough guy. I was joking with Chef and them a while back. You know, around here, if you walk too tough, a motherfucker won't try to test you, right? So the tough guy shit is not what gets you far here. I've been around here for a long time, right? And tough is not what got me here, right? It's not what got me sitting in the backyard looking at my kids swing, right? That's the tough guy shit don't get me here. That's an act, right? And I don't get paid for acting. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't a show for acting. This is it's entertainment. We're gonna entertain, we're gonna talk some shit, but we're gonna keep it 100. It's all about getting down to reality over here, right? In a fun way. We ain't over here gonna call no hoes and bitches, but what we gonna do is we gonna show who on bullshit, right? And who ain't on bullshit, right? So I just want to keep it right here, right? Listen, don't be duped. It's 2022, right? Fuck the metanetia. Fuck these niggas in they books, right? Fuck all that bullshit, right? Do something that's gonna have you leaving something behind for the ones that's coming behind you. The metanetia ain't gonna do that bullshit. The metanetia gonna have you spending your fucking money on some shit that you should have been spending some money on some other shit, or putting that shit up. Cut the bullshit. Now somebody go ahead and jump in here, man, because I can keep going. I mean, if motherfucker don't jump in.
All right. Before I make my commentary, I want to address this comment here by the brother Henry Maxwell, who wrote, "You received my Cash App and didn't send me the link as promised. I'm still looking for the principles of math in your teachings." Well, I have actually emailed you several times. And I go to my sent messages. One, two, three, four, five. I've sent 5 emails. I've sent the link for the class. Even when the class has started, maybe it went into your spam folder. Please send me an email right now. I am actually logged in on Facebook, and I've sent a message via the messenger. I've sent it 10 minutes ago. It looks like you haven't received it. And as a matter of fact, if you're available, we could do a class now so you can be up to date with the group, and then you can pursue with the group. But it looks like there's something wrong with the email. But yes, indeed, I received your Cash App, and I suspect. Do you have a Gmail? Oh, it's Yahoo email. I suspect it might have went into your spam folder, which it should be strange because Well, even after I've sent the link, I've sent you an email asking, have you received the link I've sent? And I didn't get any reply. And then sent another email saying, the class has started a while ago. And I said, feel free to join us if you can. And I send the link again. So there must be something wrong with your email address. If you have any other email address, feel free to send it to me. But the strange thing is that you first sent me an email asking me which Cash App, which email, what email or name to Cash App you, and then I've sent you my Cash App, so you received it, and then you sent the money to me via Cash App, and then I sent an email saying I've received the Cash App. Here's a link for tomorrow's class. But then I never had any reply from you. So it would be good if you could just send a message to me, use another email address, or get on the panel if you want. I have actually shared the invite link, and I'm going to share it again. Invite link. I'll just share the invite link again. But yeah, you can definitely hook up with me, and we should have some time to do a class so that you can catch up with the group and then continue. I would love that. I would love for that to happen. See, just email me, brother. All right. That being said, about what you've heard, I'm sorry about all the profanity. I'm not holier than thou, but I try not to use it too much because. So besides that, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Somebody doesn't like Kemet, then so be it. We never have everybody that likes a particular culture. But I'm quite surprised because I called on that platform before, and when I was getting there, I was like, yeah, Hotep brothers, you know what I'm saying? Hotep Senu. So I wish that people would tell me up front if they really have that kind of sentiment towards Kemet. So I would not use Hotep to greet. I would not use Sen or Senu or Seni. And I would not just call any platform where they have that feeling, because the worst I ever heard so far is probably the PhD who said throw Kemet in the garbage can, throw them out in the trash can, rather say making God away. But now it looks like we have a rant that took it even further. So once you see this video, feel free to leave a message, a comment, and tell me, do you think it is the most anti Kemet rant ever? They might have been worse. There are some particular groups who probably said worse, but coming from this one, I'm quite surprised. Even Reggie on the same live stream, you can hear Reggie say that he used to bang on Kemetic people. Well, basically, he said, I bang on Kemetic people. Um, Reggie is known for criticizing Kemetic people, but even Reggie was kind of uncomfortable with what he heard. Probably because the guy you heard making that rant for about 15 minutes, he kind of labeled Dr. Ben as pseudo or something like that. Um, but for a strange reason, at one point, Unc said to the guy making the rant that Dr. Ben would agree with what he heard. Oh, by the way, we have some comments. Kujo the African wrote, the anti-Kemet slash Afrocentric in the conscious community is sick. I hope that people will understand why I criticize Pan Africans and the so-called conscious community, because this sentiment is shared by many. Besides Reggie, amazingly, it did not bother anybody That rant that you heard did not bother anybody at all. And if you put the two and two together, we also have an entertainment debate and programming network who have left several messages. Uh, if you connect the dots, you have some people who have made some negative slash very negative statements towards Kemet. And I prefer people speak their mind. I'd rather know how people feel about about Kemet and Meta Nature. The thing is that when it comes to other ancient languages, we don't really hear that. Once again, the Hebrew was reconstructed using the Yiddish language. But besides that, to the person making that rant, I would love to hear the same about the Abrahamic belief system. You know, Christianity, Islam, Judaism. You know, I would just love to hear the same, just so that I know nobody's biased. Because, like I said many times, it's always easier to criticize slash attack slash this commit because Kemetic people are a minority. But everything that was said about Kemet could be said about the other Abrahamic belief system. Like you've heard first, we're told that at least Christianity have a book, as if we don't have any books. Once again, this is what I recommend, brothers and sisters. I know you cannot see it too clearly, but you can still see it. The author is Christian Jacques, and it's the Wisdom of Ptah. This is what I recommend you to read, brothers and sisters. All those who are interested in the all those interested in Kemet. If you try to read the Peret M. Heru of Ani, for the most part, you will not understand it. It's a compilation of spells. Too technical. The Wisdom of Ptah. And why I recommend this edition, because the author has put the hieroglyphic or the Medunetter along with the translation underneath. See, and for French speakers, look out for the French version, which is better because there is a transliteration. And recently, there's even been a new edition. I don't know the difference with the new edition. I have the former one, but the one I have is a white cover. The latest one is like a black cover with a bit of red at the bottom or the top, but probably the bottom. But anyway, so that's about what I wanted to say regarding what I've heard. I wish I knew that was a sentiment, and many people feel like that, but they just will not say it, or they will make some light criticism, but really they feel the same way. You understand what I'm saying? So many times I've said, rule number one, no fence riding. I've heard, man. So if anybody wants to ask a question or make a comment, then feel free. And like I said, you will notice that there will be less live streaming, a lot less live stream than usual. A few people know why. Those who take the classes mainly. Others will get to know later on why. But I'll not spend my time addressing statement like that all the time. Now, coming from other platforms, I would not have been too surprised. But I was kind of surprised from hearing it from that platform. But indeed, I will not react every time something like that is said. It's been going on for a long time, and at the end of the day, you have some organization teaching that Africans are living a jungle life and Africans are not civilized, and it doesn't bother anybody. So you can understand why over the years I have criticized Pan Africans, African centered people, the so called conscious community because they don't speak out when some anti black or anti African statements are made. And I've played so many times this clip from a black leader explaining that black people are mocked, disfigured, and that our physical appearance is the essence of ugliness, and it doesn't bother anybody at all from the so-called conscious community, or it bothers very few people. So uh, it's nothing new, nothing new. But for the record, I'm repeating it. Anybody that's criticizing Kemet or Kemetic people, I would like to hear them, criticizing other belief system as well, just so that I know they are not biased. But most of the time, they don't. They stick to Kemet. Now, the message I've quoted from my brother uh, Henry is regarding the middle nature classes. So, if any of you is interested, then you have my email address. All right. I thought the dude was gonna say that he's joking because early on in the show he started saying some stuff uh, that goes in the same direction, but then he was like, kind of like, no, I'm joking. So maybe he wasn't joking; he meant that. But uh, first, I thought that he was saying, "No, I'm just playing with y'all," but he was dead serious. He was dead serious. And once again, hey, to each his own. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. You know what I'm saying? You know. So I'll wait a few more minutes just in case there's some comments. And so somebody wants to get on the panel, you have the link that was shared. Whoever wants to get on the panel need to show their face, because I don't have time anymore for anonymous and unidentified people. I think it's safe to say that I have not slandered anybody or disrespected anybody or lied on anybody. I really don't feel like I have been disrespectful. I played what some people said and I just made some commentary, and I did not insult anybody. If that's how they feel, then so be it. You know what I'm saying? So be it. I just don't agree at all. I don't roll with that. I will not support that. I will not support platforms that make statements like this, and it's not going to affect or change their life. The world will still turn when I won't be there, but I happen to try to connect with people who have a minimum of respect for some ancient culture. You know, if you don't like it, hey, so be it. And I'm aware that they've been criticizing some pseudos that I have criticized as well, but we should make the distinction between some pseudos and the majority of people who deal with Kemet. And of course, there's a particular group of Kemetic people that is targeted. Uh, but hey, they're doing their thing. Um, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of envy, not to say jealousy, that plays a part or plays a role. Because when you hear some people, sometimes it feels like, whoever's dealing with Kemet, he has to be perfect with the teaching, with the knowledge. And one person just cannot do it all. at least they have a direction and they roll for it. For other people, I don't know what the direction is. Because a while back I heard people teaching that we come from monkeys. You know, I don't hear that anymore. And some people will say, "Well, that's science." Fine. And I heard people, talking about, a- being atheist. And some time back, I heard that, I ain't trying to start anything. But people teach the Africans are living a jungle life. Apparently, it's cool. It does not reward any rent. You have to wonder why. Why is it so? The people who deal with Kemet, they don't teach Africans that live in a jungle life. There are some groups that said several times that they celebrate the death of Africans. I didn't hear any rant. I don't expect people to rant about everything and anything under the sun, but when some individuals celebrate the death of black people because they are Africans, does that fly? And when it comes to so-called Kemetic people, the lack of reaction is a cliche at this point. It's habitual. So at this point, I deal mainly with people who want to learn the language, which means that they want to learn the culture. But like I've said many times over the years, a lot of people claim to be Kemetic. When Kemetic people are being disrespected and all that, there's no reaction. Now, besides that, there's no real support. It's just the mouth, the mouth, the mouth. Yeah, I'm down. I represent. I appreciate it, and that's about it. But other belief systems, they really get some support on a regular basis, and some considerable level of support that they are getting. You know, and people can see the amount of people that participate, even though there's a time difference. But all the channels that invite people who teach anti-African stuff and anti-black stuff, mainly anti-African. So a lot of people make the distinction. There's a lot of set tripping. There's a lot of tribalism. So those platforms that invite all those people who celebrate the death of Africans and all that, I mean, they get donations for days in just one live stream. They are flooded with donations. So I'm like, all right, okay. So it looks like in order to get support, you just need to invite anybody that has some anti-African teaching, and it's all good. But I'll start there before people start thinking that I'm jealous or envious. I do my thing, it's all good. And the main reason why I decided to share that rant is because I'm used to people saying, well, oh, that's not what I said. What I said was this, what I said was that. Once the actual evidence is removed, because it happens a lot. And then people say, no, I didn't say that. No, what I was trying to say was, okay, now we heard you. Not just the person making the rant, but we also heard the lack of reaction from the other people. Um, Reggie, I hope that you realize that you have created some monsters, and it might be best for you to stop creating monsters because your speech is ambiguous. Because really, it could be said that what the person renting said is the same thing that you're saying, but he just did not articulate it the way you are articulating it. And it seems like what bothered you is that Dr. Ben was labeled pseudo. Besides that, it might have been all good. So the speech is ambiguous, it's not clear. One time you're talking about the Kemetic culture, one time you're banging on the Kemetic culture or Kemetic people. And it's been like that for years, actually. So, brothers, you know, if you have a problem with one person, one group, just say it outright and it will be better, you know. But whoever you're having a problem with, he's doing his thing. Or he has a group or organization. They have their practices and they go for it. They will continue. But the so-called conscious community is like a anything goes melting pot. There's no direction. There's no direction at all. I'm not going to talk about discipline. It will be more subjective than anything else. I mean, there's some pseudos, and particularly one pseudo. It's been pseudo for years, for over a decade, and we know who hyped them. And actually, Reggie, I was talking to you about that, about the dude being fraudulent. You defended him when that conference was supposed to take place on the motherland. You defended him, and now you're banging on him. So it feels like when people, this Africa in general, or Kemet, or Kemetic people is so good until they disagree with one person in particular. And now that person now is going to come out and say, well, this is dangerous for the community. The guy is saying doesn't make any sense. So it took people a decade to catch up. Now you mean to tell me for the last 10 years nobody noticed that dude was pseudo? I will have some brothers from a team. They showed that the book was plagiarized. You knew about this, Reggie. But after that, you still defended the dude before the conference on the motherland. You knew about the plagiarism. You actually addressed the plagiarism on some platform live on air. And knowing this, you still defended the dude. So I'm not going to say you're guilty. You're not responsible for other people plagiarizing, but you defended him. You defended falsehood. Now, why are you banging on him now? Because he disagrees with you? Because he talks slick about you? Been talking slick about people for years. It's normal people being arrogant, condescending, and disrespectful. And lately, he's been doing the same with PhDs, with doctors. Do you brothers really care about Sheikh Anta Diop that much? or is it just an excuse? Like, well, we're defending our great ones. I leave it there. I don't expect any answers for these rhetorical questions that I've made. I just wanted to state that for the record. We have Simon M in the place to be who said peace to the family. So you don't have anything to say, brothers? You probably do. You agree with what you said? Do you disagree? What's your stance? You know what I'm saying? It's been 15 minutes, 50 minutes. So I guess after an hour we can call it a day if there's no participation. I don't really expect any. But I actually hesitated before making this live stream and addressing this for the record. There's many times where I'm thinking about addressing the topic and then I change my mind at the end. So this live stream I'm making right now almost didn't happen, but I don't like regretting. To me, that's one of the worst things to regret. So I thought, okay, let me just document that for the record and then keep it pushing. But I've been hearing stuff like that, man, and it's all good. It flies, man. It flies, man. Because I could have dissected that speech. I could have dissected that rant. But later on, what was said is that oh, we need to know technology. We need to know business. We need to know science. Same thing you can say addressing any belief system. A lot of people like to say, "Why, you guys, why?" Simon M is asking Richmond. You can go back at the beginning when this live stream is over, and somebody for 15 minutes have made some very negative remarks towards Kemet and Kemetic people, and including the Meta Nature. Basically saying "f the Meta Nature" and other stuff. So nothing new really in the conscious community, so-called conscious community. So a lot of people like to say, well, why you guys don't study Kemet, whatever. We need. It's like people will say, well, slavery was a long time ago. You need to move on. It's an analogy, really. So when you have people teaching that Africans are living a jungle life, we don't hear any criticism. Uh, but when some people talk about Kemet, it's like, yeah, you talk about Kemet? That was so long ago. That was so long ago. What about now? What about today? Our people are dying. Our people are being killed by the police. You hear all this kind of stuff. All these basic entry level talking points. As if they run around in mosques and church and say, you guys are praying all the time. Like, our people are dying. We need to know science. We need to know technology. We need to know business. They don't do that. When it comes to Kemet, yeah, they have those talking points for days. Simon M. Rhodes, all right, will do. Was gonna come on and build with you, but background a bit noisy. Well, if you don't mind showing your face, what I'm saying, feel free to come in. I like to interact with my peeps. Because for those who don't know, anybody can get on the panel, but you need to show your face. So if you're cool with that, if it's a little bit noisy, it's cool with me. So let me know. Are you okay to show your face? Do you want to go get on the panel now? Because for the record, I will not. I mean, you will see, brothers and sisters. I mean, you might have noticed I haven't live streamed for a while, and you will see. Simon M. Rhodes, I have noticed the anti-Kemetic approach within the conscious community. It's sickening to people like us in the Caribbean who are only just gravitating to it. Which island are you, brother? St. Lucia, okay. Um, well, St. Lucia is quite interesting. We have some English speakers over there. And if I'm not mistaken, we have some French speakers over there, don't we? Uh, and I would say there's a fair bit of Haitians, because Haitians will go everywhere they can to find work and a better life. I met one dude from St. Lucia in Florida. I don't remember if it was Haitian, but he spoke French and without any accent, you know. Simon Emerald, yes, we do. So tell me, Simon, do you fancy, like they say in England, do you fancy getting on the panel? Are you okay to show your face? And anybody else wants to get on the panel, feel free. We speak English, but we also speak the broken French dialect spoken in Haiti. So that's a Creole. Vous comprenez parler créole? Est-ce que vous comprenez l'homme parler comme ça? Est-ce que vous connaissez moi haïtien? Par exemple, vous faites Haïti, on fait la France, et me compte parler créole. Don't mind showing my face, but the noisy background. Well, give it a try, brother. If it's too noisy, then you know. But if it's just a little bit noisy, let's give it a try. You know, I wouldn't mind. I would actually appreciate. I mean, not just to end the live stream, but I've been saying it. I love the communication, the interaction, because most people are just shy, for lack of better words. You know, and it's a shame, but you know, I've talked about this. You know, people are soldiers and warriors and revolutionaries, and I'm not talking about you. You know, I'm talking about people over the years. Um, but for strange reasons, showing their face is like, you know, one of the hardest thing in the world. Now, Simon wrote, Haiti dialect is closer to proper French than ours. Okay, the brother's getting his laptop. Okay, so we'll see. Hopefully, the sound will not be too bad. For a long time, there was a considerable effort coming out of the African American community, but sometimes later on, we have to wonder, you know, maybe the effort, the endeavor will be more in other parts of the diaspora. Some people used to be Kemetic and you know advocating for that, and for some reasons they've decided not to do so. And I'm like, okay, you have the right to change your stance, but you just don't have to bang on it. You don't have to, you know, diss it and all that. You know what I'm saying? All right. I'm waiting for the brother to get on the panel. Oh, there he is. Hotep said, greetings, how you doing? You're muted right now. You're still muted. So I don't hear you.
Yeah,
But yeah,
peace, peace,
yes,
peace, and love, mad forever, man. How are you, bro?
I'm glad you called in because people are not really eager to call in. So thank you for that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I hear what you're saying because a lot of guys are afraid to show their face. I don't know what's wrong if they thinking man's gonna come for them or you know what I mean. It's just that sometimes the environment is not conducive, so
Mm.
I rather probably just log off my face and just because right now my son hears me on the laptop and he's coming to keep some noise next to me or cry for the laptop. Anyway,
Mm.
very interesting show, bro. Um, that's
Don't
exactly.
worry. I got my 2 year old daughter, and when I'm live streaming, and particularly when I'm giving middle lecture classes, then she loves to be there. She loves the attention. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
even worry about that. I know exactly what it is. You know, and some people I give classes to, they have their children sometimes will be acting up too. So you know,
I get you.
it's
All
all
right,
good.
respect.
Yeah.
All right, peace. So yeah, I basically was just going through YouTube and then I saw No, I think I should begin by saying I actually came across you for the first time, bro, on one of Garfield's shows. You know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, who's this brother? You know what I mean? Who's like, I didn't think they had any like you left, to be honest. Not that I'm disrespecting the rest, but you hardly find any brothers in the conscious community who actually began with the Kemetic spiritual science kind of still banging on it. You know what I mean? Apart from Jabari, who does it in a religious aspect. You know what I mean? There is Ujau that deals with the Medunet as well, and Imhotep. But like your vibe kind of reminded me of back in the day Saneta kind of vibe. You know what I mean? So when I saw you on Garfield show, especially when he said it, he entitled it Egyptomaniac. I was like, what? Like, and then you coming in with this picture of the goddess behind you. I'm like, this bro is brave, you know. So I listened to the show and I heard you speak and everything. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to subscribe to this brother and follow his work, which is why I actually got the notification that you were on live. You know what I mean? And yeah, I do agree. I think for the past year or two, you have been getting this anti-Kemetic rhetoric within the conscious community. Um, I don't know whether you don't want to mention names on your channel, right?
No, but feel free, brother. Feel free.
Yeah, I mean, first you get first it began with Egyptomaniac. That's what it began with, in my view. They would just call the thing like anyone who shows a passion or a dedication or even an interest in ancient Kemet, they would just call you an Egyptomaniac. And I'm thinking, but like, where does that word come from? It was actually European people defining other Europeans that are over fascinated with Kemet. So how comes now it come like some kind of word within the community, like this term that everyone just throwing around? If you just basically coming out from a Christian background, and as black people are spiritual people, it's obvious that you would be looking for a African spiritual system, if you may, to replace that. You know what I mean? We're here in the Caribbean. I mean, I've been on it for a while, but there are people who are just waking up to this, bro.
True. It's true.
Yeah, there are people who are just waking up to this, and then they're now coming across guys like Garfield, Rabon. Um, they even at the time, what's that one name too? Reggie was on it too. Yeah.
Hmm.
There
And
was some other dude. You
do you remember the other
go
dude's
on, go
name?
on.
Do you remember the other dude's
Uh,
name?
no, it's eluding me right now.
You know what's funny is that I have addressed Garfield in the past, and he ended up coming on my platform. We had a really nice discussion, and then I went on his platform a few times. Um, Reggie also, I came across a clip where he was like kind of banging on committee people. So I
At a
put the
point in
title
time,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, I put the title up, and and he came and said, I thought you was gonna, like, going on me, like, but I was like, what I like to do is quote people, and if I can quote their direct word via audio or video, and that's the best. But we still had a good discussion. There's some other time he came, he first sent me some email to say he wanted to present some information, and he did, and we spoke, and we read some Medunesha, and everything's all good. And at the end, he was like, the pharaohs would build the pyramids, they were cuckoo. And I was like, at first I thought it was like kind of joking, I was like, you serious? He said, yes. And I like, you can't say that. So we spoke, and he let me know his views and all that, but Rob Bourne, I never spoke to him. I called him out. I don't know if you've seen my latest video, one of my latest video.
Mhm.
I called him out in the past, actually a year ago, because he said Kemet is dead. And well, he declined, and that's his right. He's so good. He left a message to let me know he got to know about it. But then, like a few days ago, I just show that he's been very biased because he's been talking about people being spooky and all that. But
Yeah, bro.
uh, Sinetta showed people from his own organization, his elders, you know what I'm saying, uh, you know, believing that who they call Father Allah, which is Clouds 13X, he's still living through the teaching, by way of, spirituality or the spirit and something like that. And it's very funny that he never labeled them spooky. So, Garfield he made it clear recently that he has something personal uh, um, with Jabari, because before he would say, I like the brother, I don't have anything against him. He kept saying that, but recently he, uh, Jabari said something that really triggered Garfield. So Garfield let it be known. He's personal. He's personal. So I'm like, okay, at least you come correct, and you just let people know, okay, that's something personal. And the others, they don't really say it's personal, but they kind of say, oh, how he charges so much, or he doesn't really know the meta nature well, which is a reality. A Kemetic priest should know the meta nature to a certain level. But I know he's working on it. I have seen the difference. I've heard him, and I know he's working on it. But like I said before, as far as I'm concerned, it really looks to me like envy/jealousy, you know, because Jabari is doing his thing. He's really doing his thing. He has a fair bit of followers. He gets to travel, and he obviously makes a living out of the teaching he does. And you have other people who's been there and teaching for a very long time, and they don't have the same following. So,
Yeah,
mhm, go ahead,
to
brother.
have a whole shrine, and you basically in charge of a whole shrine. You're in charge of bringing people on tours, and that is a huge responsibility. I mean, I don't know if the brother is scamming. That's the brother's heart. That's his conscience. When he gets to the halls of Ma'at, then he will be judged. Then what I mean. But in regards to how I'm seeing the brother always portraying himself, he's not flashy. He's not loud spoken. He doesn't even disrespect. Like, it will be hard to hear a curse word coming out of Jabari's mouth. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So even though what he doing may not be 100, you should be able to tell his character by that alone.
Yeah, it's true.
You
It's
get what I'm
true.
saying? So the personal vendetta that Garfield has with him, I mean, I don't know, and it just seems to me everyone who labels individuals that are inspired by Kemet Egyptomaniacs and want us to forget about the East culture and focus on West Africa, which is where we came from directly. I find these very same individuals are most times atheists. You
Mhm.
know, um,
Sorry, hold on. Stay with us, please. There's another brother who's on the panel, and we can see his face, so I'm going to put it on. Daniel
cool.
Hero, I'm going to put you on it in a few seconds.
Okay.
Greetings, brother Daniel.
Yep.
Feel free to speak, brother. Oh, it's frozen. Um, it might do that sometimes. I expect in a few seconds, hopefully, uh, we'll get to see and hear the brother. But if you can hear me, Daniel, uh, your image is frozen now, and we don't hear any sound. It's probably some
Is it?
connection issues. Yes. But I just heard you now. But
Okay.
you
Let me
okay?
see.
Yeah. Now we can see the
Okay. Can
video
you hear me
clearly.
now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes. Feel free to speak.
Okay. So, oh, peace, brother, peace, brother. So I had to come on because I've been hearing this thing about, uh, you know, Jabari and other people scamming. And and I watched your video earlier when he was on the pseudo killers, and they talking about people that scamming or getting scammed. And one thing that I have noticed is that they make these allegations, but they have no proof. They just make these blanket allegations. They're scamming. They're scamming. They're scamming. They're doing this, but you haven't shown one person that scammed. You haven't seen one person that came out that claimed to scam, and there's no police reports or nothing that would say if that would confirm anything that they're saying. They
It,
talked about Jabari. They talk about Jabari. They talk about anybody that's doing Kemet. And this is what I said. And I told Garfield this. And I haven't spoke to Unc, but I definitely told Garfield this. I said it seems as if you guys are jealous of the success or the momentum that people are getting with the Kemetic teaching, and y'all instead of y'all um, teaching West Africa, maybe y'all feel like y'all can't. Y'all get mad at them and y'all want them to teach it. Because you keep saying, why does everything come from Egypt? Why does everything come from Egypt? And my thing was, then teach West Africa. It's their perspective, it's their specialty of study. You wouldn't tell a biologist, why are you not teaching physics? Why are you only teaching physics? Or why are you only teaching
Yeah.
chemistry? This is just some crazy
Good point, Joe.
hating stuff that they're coming up with, right? And then Garfield will talk about, like, they'll say, well, why y'all only beating up on the Bible? I said, do y'all understand that this is debates? Do y'all understand there's arguments of contention within the community, and that's what it's there for? Otherwise, there wouldn't be a Sinetta. There wouldn't be a modern day debates. There wouldn't be a SVDL. There wouldn't be, there wouldn't be these platforms. And I said, tell me when a person who studies or practice Kemet or Ma'at have sat on a corner and said, this is the only religion for you. All your people come here. We are the chosen people. We did this. I said, what happens is there's an argument that's made, and someone challenges the information, which you say that's part of being a pseudo killer, or that's part of the Lion's Den, or SVDL, or whoever, right? Then you end up getting exposed. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, the brothers who study Kemetic spirituality, West African or African history, are the leading scholars as far as in the debates. That's who's getting the most notoriety, recognition, and so forth. So, I mean, don't hate on Jabari because he charges. So what? He charges. This is what's crazy also. And this is why I say they're hypocritical. You're trying to say that Jabari is scamming, or somebody, whoever said it, Jabari is scamming because he's charging too much. Who are you to determine the value of Jabari's class? How do you determine worth? Jabari has degrees. He's written books. He's put out the curriculum, and he put it out there to the marketplace. So anybody who claims they as smart as they say they are will understand the marketplace and economics, right? You will understand capitalism, which that's part of it. He put it out there. He didn't say you have to buy it or you ain't going to heaven, or if you don't buy it, this is going to happen to you. He didn't say you go buy this and learn this, and now all of a sudden you go win millions of dollars, you go earn millions of dollars. He said, listen, I'm teaching a college level course that's going to be, I think it's like 6 weeks long. And it's if you want to learn ancient Egypt, ancient Kemet, here it is. Nobody forced these people to pay that. None of them have even taken a course to infiltrate and taken a course to say, okay, Jabari, what you're teaching isn't right. It's not correct. You're not doing it right. Garfield, and this is me, and this is not a lie. Garfield was doing credit repair. Yeah, that's one of the biggest scams. One of the biggest scams there is. Biggest scams there is. I know because I can do credit repair. I have people who do credit repair, but I don't shit on them and be like, hey guys, it's a scam or you're paying too much for the services, because there are no guarantees. And you tell them, okay, I'm gonna get your score to 800, but when it don't come at 800, then what? These people, for what you're doing, and you're charging these people, you could give them a book and say, just do this. There's a book called, I think her name is Mary Croft. It's how I clobbered every bureaucracy in, I think, in the 21st century, something like that. Her book tells you how to do that. Her book tells you not how to pay taxes, how to get away with not paying credit cards, and why you shouldn't pay it. It's a PDF. It's free, right? So people who saying Jabari is scamming, I would at least appreciate it as a person who listens to the different platforms and people who are part of the conscious community. And I support everybody that if you're going to say somebody's scamming, please have the evidence. Don't tell me you scamming because you think it's not worth it.
And I'm glad you're saying that, brother, because like you said, he doesn't say, well, if if you don't get on my program or you don't purchase services or good from me, you will not go to heaven. And what he's charging for is something that he's providing. I've not heard people say, I mean, earlier there's a brother who said that he sent the cash app to me and he did not receive the link that's for the class. So I explained to him that I've sent him some email, but I never got any
Mhm.
reply. But I did send him the link for the class. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
that's probably the first time that
Mhm.
somebody's complaining about not getting the service for something that he paid when it comes to me. But
Right.
not Gafi, Jabari has a much larger audience than me, and I
Right.
think if he was doing people wrong, we would hear people saying that. And also,
Yes.
indeed, well, some comedic people do good with debates, but Jabari is labeled the Floyd Mayweather of the conscious community, and I think uh, that rubs people the wrong way. Some people feel some kind of way about it, but once again, uh, you have people who charge like $3,000, $3,500 to go to Kemet, and you have to go 3 times to be raised up. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say no
Mhm.
name. It's not an attack, but it is what it is. We don't hear any criticism about you know such individuals, and other people make tools, and it's about the same price. Price tag, like $3,000. You know what I'm saying? And we have people who sell package, like how do you call it? Nationality
Mhm.
packages. Some more
Oh yeah.
expensive. And we don't
Yeah.
hear the criticism. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
of course, people will never say, "Hey, you know what? I hate on you, dog. I'm so jealous of you." People don't say that, but this
Right.
can be detected by people's words and action. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, um, Garfield is not the only one who has something personal against Jabari. There's another brother who told me that there's something that was supposed to happen that ultimately did not happen. So the brother feels some kind of way about it. But
So,
yes, go ahead. Feel free. Feel free. Yeah.
so Mahad, is it that because of the personal vendetta all of them have against Jabari? And I just want to say, Daniel, you made some very good points, bro. Big up to you on that. You get me? Is it because of the personal vendetta that most of them seem to have against Jabari? They just tarnish the whole Kemetic movement because of one person? Because you said
Ultimately,
that they call whoever wants to believe in any African spirituality, they call it spookism.
no,
You
that
see what
that's I haven't heard it from them, but I've heard it from Rabon.
Right.
But I mean, I happened to stumble across a live stream. I even saw one brother called Melvin. He sent me an email and he asked me if I wanted to talk about Mboli's book about languages, uh, about linguistic. Um, so I was like, okay, I'm available such and such date. And I asked him which platform would it be on, and then he said, "Will not be on any platform. It will be a private Zoom." So I said, "Okay, there was some misunderstanding. I thought it would be a live stream. In this case, I'll have to respectfully decline." And that was the end. And just this morning before I went to work, now mind you, I'm in Europe, so uh, in the morning when I prepare for work, when it's like let's say if it's 7 o'clock, then it's 1 a.m. in America, well, in New York. So it went on, and they stayed up late with the live stream, and I saw the same brother who writes, Shaka, aka my forever, come out of hiding and come here. So I told him, what's wrong with you? Put some respect on my name. What would why would you say something like that? You know what I'm saying? And I said, you invited me, and I respectfully declined, and that's about it. Then he said, okay, oh, what I just meant is just coming in because there's some French, and I was even tempted to call in because I did see the book in French. It was a book by Theophile Benga that I actually read, and Reggie showed that book. And he explained that he didn't read it because it's in French. It hasn't been translated in English, well, not that I know of. But when I saw a message like that, I'm like, it doesn't even make you want to go there, and he might not be a member of this team, but I really don't understand sometimes how people can. But I mean, that's just a parenthesis, and it's just in passing. But I wanted to say that I happened to stumble upon the live stream, and I scrolled through the video like I do many times. So God knows, like people say, what might have been said during that live stream. and the other live stream, because we had like 4 hours or 5 hours of live streaming. There's another live stream, it's like 7 hours. So who knows what they might have been saying. But I'm like, it's always going to be like that. I mean, no matter what we do in life, we're going to have some adversity, we're going to have some opponents. But I think indeed that it's really unfair. The
Yeah,
story that's being said about Jabari is really unfair.
yeah. And just because of
Yeah.
one guy, I mean, I don't know what the personal vendetta is. And like Daniel said, if you say someone is scamming, at least have some evidence. Don't just throw it out there, because as black people, we like a lot of drama. So the moment you hear someone is scamming, probably if you're actually learning something from that individual, you begin immediately to ostracize them. You know what I mean? So we should be very careful with terms like pseudo and spookism and scamming. And then they would use individuals like Polite, Young Pharaoh, um, and Dr. Umar Johnson as examples of people who have been scamming within the conscious community. You
Hmm.
know, so yeah, I just think that black people finally got something that they can gravitate to, and we seem to be doing it globally. You know what I mean? And then these guys are basically trying to tarnish that, in my view, by having this anti Kemetic rhetoric within the conscious community. And seeing that was what used to uphold the conscious community, to having to come to this right now, it's very sad. And like Daniel said again, instead of criticizing something, if you want us to really, and you be like, okay, we actually came from West Africa and that's where we came from. Well, since you specialize in that particular field, why don't you teach us some of these spiritual practices? You know what I mean? It cannot just be on basic secular history, because we black people are spiritual people, We want to hear something about this divine intelligence, who some call God or creator. Like, we need to hear the the perspective from an African standpoint, because we realize that the Judeo-Christian perception is not ours. That there is actually a man somewhere in the sky looking over you. That is not the African understanding of God. So why not at least bring us that proper understanding where, um, we can perhaps see some synchronicity within cultures from the East and from the West. Things scholars as Wobogo have done, right? He has a book, prophetic destiny, or some kind of title, where he shows, and not just him, I think there is Baba Kwameni as well, who's showing the correlation within spiritual practices from the East and the West. When that is highlighted, they call that pseudo. And they're like, no, these cultures are thousands of years apart and they could never be the same. And some want to talk about people migrated from Kemet and went to West Africa, and that was never the case. And I'm like, yo, what are you guys doing? You know what I mean? And then you have us here in the Caribbean, who most people just coming out of Christianity and seeing, well, like, yo, okay, this Kemetic thing, I can vibe with it. Most people who go to Kemet or use Kemet as some sort of inspiration here in the diaspora don't do that because of Kemet has gold and, oh, the huge pyramids. We're not even about that, yo. We're just about a proper understanding of this thing that we call the creator or the divine, whether it is understood through principles within nature and still being part of us. You know what I mean? So we appreciate individuals like Jabari, and back in the day when Polite used to be on it. And so it's like right now, with the stench that's being had within the conscious community, people who have been in the community from day one right now do not even want to associate with the community and be like, no, I'm not part of that community and these guys are con artists. I'm like, but yo, you know what I mean? Like, so,
And you know, brother, I'm glad you said that, because before the Egyptomaniac talk, there was the Hotep N-word talk, which was very big, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And I blamed him before. I made a video addressing him. It's not gonna change his life. He has a very large following, very large platform. That's from what I heard, that was Tariq Nasheed, and that was years back, you know. It's the first one I kept hearing saying, yeah, it's Hotep N words. And then so many people use it. Luckily now, people use it less. But some people are still using it, you know. And we have some people who talk about the big head scientists and mothership, mother wheel,
yeah.
and the so-called jet black man having a child with a Caucasian woman, and the child, you know, he looks that Far Muhammad stuff
Yeah.
with the Moses and the dynamite trick. You know what I'm saying?
Never heard that one
Jesus,
before. The dynamite thing.
Jesus.
Never heard
Oh
that
yeah,
one.
yeah. You know, I mean, just for those who don't know. Now, let me say this now. African Science is asking who had a rent. Well, you'll be able to hear it.
Same
I've
question
played
I
it.
asked.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. Same question. You'll be able to hear it from the beginning. I played it. You know, there's one excerpt that's less than 1 minute, and the second excerpt which is about 15 minutes. But for the record, let me share. You know, and you will see what is being ignored. But then some people have a passion for Kemetic people, for criticizing Kemetic people. That's my website, by the way. You have the URL in the middle here, and I will actually share the link to the article. So, teaching of Nation of Islam teaching. I'm going to share the link in the chat. I'm going to put NOR teachings, and then the dynamite trick. If I put dynamite, there it is. Now I'm gonna make it larger so we can read together. Now is it large enough? Yes, it is. So the source is a book called The Black Stone, page 173 to 174. Now, for those who wonder, this is published by MEPS, Messenger Elijah Muhammad Propagation Society. They are the one who publish Message to the Black Man. So they have released several books out of the speeches of Elijah Muhammad, just like the theology of time was a speech that was put in a written format. So here, Elijah Muhammad said, from then on, Moses recognized the fact that he could not say just anything to them. He had a hard time trying to civilize them. Once they gave Moses so much trouble that he took a few sticks of dynamite, went up on the mountainside, placed them into the ground, and went back to get those who were giving him the most trouble. He said to them, stand there on the edge of this mountain, and you will hear and you will hear the voice of God. They stood there, about 300 in number. Moses set the fuse, and it killed all of them. The imams got after Moses for performing this trick on the devils. Now, the nation of Islam, for those who don't know, they talk about tricknology. Now, it looks like tricknology at best, you know. Now, there's a thing about Elijah Muhammad hearing voices, you know. So I'm going to let you hear it. That's why I was telling people just ask Rabon, was Elijah Muhammad pseudo, just for sorry, was Elijah Muhammad spooky, just for the record. Now here, is it showing? Yes. Uh, and I'm sharing the link in the chat now. Elijah Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad, hearing voices, because a lot of people are going at Jabari because he said that he heard some voices or something like that. Now that's Elijah Muhammad. The
Jabari
book is
said
called.
Jabari said the mummy, or yeah, I think the mummy spoke to him or something like that.
I can't remember exactly how he
Yeah.
articulated it, but there's an issue about the voice, like he felt like he heard a voice, something like that. I mean, even if he said I heard a voice, I'm like, okay, Elijah Muhammad, that's what he said. The
Well,
book is called The Science. Yes, go ahead.
the thing is if he heard a voice and what?
But
Okay.
that's my thing, because when we read about religious theology, I mean those religious story, you know, Moses was walking around and he heard a voice and there was a burning bush, and then I mean he was just talking to God directly and other people as well. But then again, when it's Elijah Muhammad, it's cool. When it's Jabari, it's not cool, because here the book is called The Science of Time, and this was actually some interview, if I'm not mistaken. But let's see together. Now, God have said, that's Elijah Muhammad, for the record. You know, the founder, yes, the founder, first leader, let's say, of the Nation of Islam. He was, of course, taught by Father Muhammad. So God have said to me that the time has long past due for the execution of the wicked, the enemies who have misled the whole world back of black man, except for about 10% of them. So he taught me night and day in person for 3 long years and about 4 or 5 months, and he still guides me. He still speaks to me whenever he pleases, right Directly, the voice comes to my ears from his mouth, like listen to a word from you, whenever he pleases. Now, that's where the interview was. 100 answers to the most uncommon questions. Well, maybe it was not an interview because of the title, but the question is, did you yourself speak to God? And the messenger Elijah Muhammad replied, yes, I thought I was speaking to him every day. I'm sorry, I thought I was speaking to him ever since I was born, but I didn't know him. I was blinded to the knowledge of him. So he came to me and made himself known to me. And that's actually interesting for people who want to take it further and try to understand the reasoning of Elijah Muhammad, because here, that's very important what he said. He said, I thought I was speaking to him ever since I was born. He figured that he was speaking to him. And actually, for those who are aware, because a lot of people don't know about the theology of the Nation of Islam, they just kind of know about the message to the black man in America, the fall of America, our Savior has arrived, and the theology of time, and that's about it. You know what I'm saying? So when Elijah Muhammad met with Fa Muhammad, his wife met him first. You know, and if I'm not mistaken, she told her husband about him. But he said, you are the one, and I'm paraphrasing, like, to save us, or you are the savior, or whatever. And then Father Muhammad said, something like, okay, but who knows that but you, or keep it on the hush, or basically. So as the first time he met Father Muhammad, he told him straight away, you are, like, basically, you are the one. You know what I'm saying? So you wouldn't be surprised that the guy just rolled with it. You know what I'm saying? And remember, we have the testimony of Warith Din Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad's own son, who said that his mother, Elijah Muhammad's wife, said that Prophet Muhammad didn't say that he was God, and that prophet was too much of a title. You know what I'm saying? But some people would say that he lied. And for those who read the teaching of Elijah Muhammad, it's clear that he was making interpretation of the Bible, because he quotes the Bible way more than the Quran. But anyway, other question. I would like to ask a religious question. Do you have visions? The Messenger Elijah Muhammad said, I do not say really have visions, but I do have voices at times. Question. Are you talking about Mr. Fard? Elijah Muhammad replied, it was him that I have learned all that I am now teaching. I do not know anything of myself. It is what he has given me. Question. It is his voice that you hear in visions now? Elijah Muhammad replied, it is the same voice in the past and at present. I have not had to go into such things as fasting and praying that I hear him. It is just so. Just like something happens all of a sudden out of a blue sky, like thunder. Sounds spooky to me. But anyway, question. All these 40 years, this goes on periodically? Elijah Muhammad replied, yes, I've had him speaking to me in my ears now, in person, yes. There does not pass a year that I do not hear his voice sometime in that year. You know. And for the record, just here underneath the book called The Genesis Years, page 152, a Negro will never be the president under the stars and stripes of America. And there's somebody called Barack Obama, but they will come up with some excuse, you know what I'm saying? So that was just for the record. Here they will not say spooky. And there's the worst, the Nation of Islam teaching that Africans are living a jungle life and Africans are not civilized, and that's what they call supremism. But I will stop there because I've been a bit long-winded with my quotations.
Yeah, let me say this before I have to.
Feel free, brother. Hold on, brother. Is it possible that you get to a different location, because it's breaking up every time you speak?
Yeah, it's breaking.
Real quick, let me. Is it breaking up now?
Go ahead, speak. Let's see.
Speak again.
Okay. So I was gonna say, just let me say this, and I'll get my head out. Is the reason why they say spooky is because it was to combat the way that the Kemetics were, the people studying Kemet in Egypt and Africa, about beating up the Hebrews. So they were saying, and their argument is that, let's get going. How can you say that when y'all have the same spookiness? And I always tell them, black people have always been a spiritual people, right? And when you say you hear voices, there's millions of people that hear voices, whether it's psychotic condition, episode, or whether you just hear yourself and you manifest it as something else. The difference is that voice telling me to command or instruct others to like a commandment, to a cult or some type of manipulation. So I don't care about the spooky.
And you're frozen.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're frozen. If you can hear us
Yeah,
after you said, "I don't care
Yeah.
about the spooky." Oh, now
Okay.
we can
yeah.
hear you now.
Yeah.
So I said I don't care about them calling me. I mean, that's not an insult to me. When people are debating, the Hebrews or the Bible's getting beat up because they're taking things that are tangible, that can be historically proven with evidence, it is being disproven. So because I do that, and I might have similar traditions or ceremonies, now you're calling it spooky. I didn't. I mean, if you say you spoke to Yahweh, you spoke to Yahweh. I could care less. If you say in the Bible, you say Moses did this, that's fine. But when you say Moses lived, and you're taking it into a literal interpretation, then we might have some type of argument or disagreement about that, where we can
True.
actually debate and talk about it. So that's what that thing is. And the people who are beaten up, who are anti-Kemetic or anti-Egypt, are the same people who was there supporting and doing Kemet on trial. The craziest shit I ever heard. Right?
And yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
But anything that's popular now, we jump on, right? We jump on it. That's how our people tend to be. You don't see Jabari on corners preaching like the Hebrews, and they have their right to do that. You don't see Jabari on some video with commercials talking about Kemet is the way, and we are all Kemetans, and we belong to Egypt, and it's that. He says these are our ancestors. He says that I'm West African. He says that this is the tradition that I chose to practice. Now, none of that is wrong.
True.
So I just don't get it.
Yeah,
Rob
and
is a
when it
great
comes,
teacher. He has a lot. I believe the
uh,
the
you're breaking a
part.
bit, brother.
Oh, okay? Am I breaking them now?
Now we can hear
Can you
you.
hear me? Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
now
gonna
we
say
can
this. I'm
hear
gonna go. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go. I wish Rob Bourne would lead the charge to teach more West African studies. I wish Rob Bourne would, and I think that if they all stuck to their specialty, that we could all come together, because you know people are going to connect with different things differently. And they say, how is the meta going to help us today? Well,
you.
self-actualization, self-image, all these things that belong in our psyche will help produce a stronger, more healthier people mentally. And also
Facts.
can back to our homeland. If that's what y'all all saying, you don't have to go back there, but you could connect there. And so I
True.
don't see a problem with it. And when I heard it, I was whatever. But I'm gonna go, man. I appreciate you having me on. And thanks for having me, Daniel Haru. I also have a small channel right now. EDPN is Entertainment and Debate Program Network. And man, just keep up the work and don't let all that foolishness and slander stuff affect you. Keep doing you, bro.
All right.
Thanks for
Peace,
coming in,
down.
brother.
Peace,
All
bro.
right.
Give
All right.
thanks.
And I would just say that at the end of the day, bottom line, um, any belief system could be labeled or could have some stuff that will be labeled by some as spooky. You know what I'm saying? We cannot escape that because belief system is a different terminology for religion. Other people don't like the word religion, so they will use spirituality. There's always going to be some stuff that would or could be labeled as spooky at the end of the day. So whether it's Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, or whether it is comedic practices or spirituality, there will always be stuff that could be labeled as spooky. You see?
Yeah, yeah. I understand, bro. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's really getting sickening. We getting a bit too much, you know what I mean? And as I aforementioned, those who call it that don't actually provide something else. So, like the brother say, I mean, big up to Rabonka. He's a very well-read brother, you know what I mean? And if he did want, he can actually provide possibly, that religious aspect to West Africa. instead of just saying, "Oh, we come from West Africa and y'all should go and do it." But that is your specialty. Although I have heard him mention his specialty would be Africans in the Americas, but they heavy on the West African thing,
Uh,
which is good because that's where we came
that
from directly. To the
that's
point
this.
where over about a year ago they actually stem into West Africa to do some research, and based upon what I've stumbled across in the what do you call it, the Akanguan culture and the religion, the cosmology, and I cross-referenced it with the Kemetic. I mean, it's almost the same undertone. Is the what I mean? So it's like, yeah, bro. I think more respect needs to be had within that community because, to be honest, with all the different divisions, it's all we got really, and they even looking to break that down. You know what I mean? So where will that leave us as a people? So just wanted to get that in there, man. I just started following your work. I have to start from your very first video and come up. That's how you really learn an individual. And I want to big you up and big respect to you, bro, for holding the fort, as they would say. You know what I mean? While all this is
I
going on,
appreciate. I
yeah, being
appreciate that.
brave to even speak
Mm,
about that.
mm. I appreciate that. What I would recommend whenever you have time is to watch a video entitled "Kemet and Ma'at." The original title was "Introduction to Kemet," but in 2016, I lost my account after some flagging
Okay.
by some people that I unfortunately know and others that I don't know. But back then the title was Introduction to Kemet, but now it's Kemet and Ma'at. It's about 45 minutes long. And then if you have time, you have the link in the description of my video, including this one. There's the one called Deception of Asiatic Black Men, and there's another one called White Semites Black Awakening. Now the one called
This on
Black
your
Semites,
channel? Is
yes,
that
it's on
on
my channel.
your channel? Okay, cool, cool,
Yes,
cool, cool.
actually on this video here
Mm-hmm.
in the description, you have some links, and
Some links.
you
Okay,
will
cool.
find those videos. Yes, you'll find all the videos I mentioned in the links.
And the stuff
And
you read earlier from Elijah Muhammad, that is on your website.
yeah, and the address is there, but you
Powerful.
you you need to either add a slash English at the end, or if you just, well, actually you actually have the website in the description. You have the
Description.
website, afrostudy.com/English. So it will
Okay.
lead you to the page that we've seen earlier, and then at the bottom of the page it says, Nation of Islam Teaching. So
Okay. So I
yeah,
have
and
two questions for you, bro.
yes, feel free, brother.
Where are you presently and where are you from? Because I can hear, yes, you're very fluent in English, but
Mm,
I English
there's an
doesn't sound
accent.
like your first language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mother tongue is French. I was born in France, but
Okay.
I lived in England for a few years. My parents are from Haiti.
Okay. Okay.
They they
So
they
are
were
you in
both
England right
born in
now?
Haiti. I'm in France now.
You're in France now. Okay. Peace.
Mm.
Peace.
So
All
it's
right.
it's like 12 minutes past midnight right now in France.
Yeah. Yeah. We got that Greenwich Meridian time. I think you guys follow as well.
Yeah, we plus one, GMT plus one.
GMT
Basically,
plus.
we're 1 hour ahead of London.
Okay. So that would translate to, yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Basically, we yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, this spookism talk, I did actually have a short bill with a brother called Imhotep on my Facebook channel and on my YouTube channel as well. So the title was Spookism, Understanding Soul and Spirit, or Is This All Spookism? Right? And I interviewed this brother called Imhotep Ra Africa, who is sort of called himself like a metaphysicist, So I introduced him as first was to speak about it. I had that live on yesterday, or was it the day before, on Sunday, I believe. Um, this coming Sunday, I'm gonna be interviewing Shakara, Shakara from the
Oh,
UK.
that's it. Oh, from the UK. Okay. Oh, I thought it was another brother. Okay. There's a brother who's giving classes, and I thought it was him, but yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
familiar with Chakao.
yeah. So I'm interviewing him Sunday. Then there's a brother called Tihuti that is about the kinetic spirituality. I'm
Yeah, the
interviewing
the
him.
one with the snakes.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. I'm into. What do you think about him? Do you think
Um,
he's correct culture, or do you think?
I think that he makes some interpretation sometimes.
Okay,
Um, he has knowledge of the meta nature, but sometimes there's some interpretation and some
and
shortcuts, and
I
he
get you.
quotes Budge a lot. And
And
Budge
he
is
what?
really considered. He quotes Wallis Budge a lot,
A lot. Okay,
and Wallis Budge is really outdated, and so it will help him if he gets a bit more familiar with the meta nature.
I get you.
That will be helpful because I mean, over the years, I've heard many claims about the meta nature, and most of our people don't know the meta nature. That's why we have two guys who won in 2008 slash 2009, something like that. He came out and said, "Oh, that hieroglyphic of the arm means Allah." And recently, we have a Moorish guy who went on Sanela's platform and said the same thing. And some because our people don't know the meta nature, some people will be like, "Well, maybe it's true. Who knows?" So I've actually made a video refuting that. It's called Allah is not in Nubia Temple of Ptah because the original video is entitled Allah in Nubia Temple of Ptah. And the funny thing is that the guy who made that claim, I mean, who uploaded the video showing that person making that claim, he left some comments. He went back and forth with me, and he said, "This is not Medu Nature. This is not hieroglyphic. This is pyramid text." And the pyramid text is written hieroglyphic. I mean, and people listen to people to dudes like that. I mean, it's just crazy. And that's what I would label spooky. There's a lot of spookism, basically misinformation, and it's just crazy.
Misinformation.
you
Mm.
know. And lately, I've heard you mentioning some, Ujao. You know, Ujao has been teaching Mother Nature. He has knowledge of the Mother Nature, but him and his friend Asaim Hotep, they're into some very strange road because now they're talking about Kem doesn't mean black. A few days ago, he said that the ancient Egyptians were not black. And all
Wow.
that because they have that claim that Kemet means riparian country or something like that. So they want to change the meaning of Kem, the I6 glyph, which mainly means black. And almost all the Egyptologists in the world say that.
Agree on that.
And Reketi Amen also says that. And when someone asks Simon Hotep, okay, and actually it's the brother who's here, Pan African Designs and Apparel,
Mhm.
Apparel, brother James, if I'm not mistaken. He asked him, okay, but Reketi Amen, she says that Kem means black. So what is she wrong about that? And Simon Hotep said yes. He said to me, yes. Asam Hotep said that Diop was wrong, Theophile Bang was wrong, James P. Allen was wrong. I mean, everybody's wrong, but the dude. So and besides that, Asam Hotep said that rise of volcano that Allah is in the Egyptian text, that the Hebrews are Fulanis. I mean, he made so many weird claims, and that's why I and others labeled them as pseudos because I mean, they know what they're doing,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then they're like, "Oh, you haven't read my book. You need to read my book in order to deal with the topic at hand." And that's just ridiculous. I don't have to read your book. That's like a sales tactic. You know what I'm saying? That's just weird, but it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But man, gotta make a move though. But
I
just want to say
understand.
thank you for letting me on and having this bill. I'm
Oh,
definitely
my pleasure.
gonna go and play back the video from the start when I get some time. And possibly in the near future, I'm gonna hit you up, right? Because I think I saw you paste your email address
Hmm.
uh, in the comments at MSN, I think it was.
Yes, it's,
MS.
it's it's actually I've now it's on all the videos. So all
All
the
right.
all the recent videos you have the my email address, and it's also on my channel the about section.
Okay.
So
So I'm gonna hit you up, bro, and hopefully in the near future we can possibly do an interview where I ask you some questions in regards to the culture, the language, the understanding, and what have you.
yeah, feel free.
All right, cool, King. So peace and love, Uncle Justin Neb, Uncle
I'm
Maat.
just in it. All right, Hotep. All right. All right. I appreciate that nice discussion. I wish it would be like that more often. What I'm saying, if it was like that, then I would do live streams more often. And there was a time, I guess, I told my lady, I think, you have more, you have so many people because you're there. And she stopped being there, and we have less people. But, there was more people in attendance, some people making compliments. There was a fair bit of super chats, donations, but hey, that's how some brothers are. So, Brother Pan African Designs and Apparel says also some of them infiltrated as Kemet supporters at first, only to reveal their true religious/historical allegiance, as well as the jealousy and envy from within. The most important is to document those things and really keep it pushing. It's just a shame. Uh, I don't know if I should say there's confusion, but whoever has this sentiment towards uh, Kemet, let it be known from the get go. Let me know from the get go, uh, so I can be more selective. You know what I'm saying? Because once again, after what I've heard, I'm like, damn, when I think that I went there starting saying, with Hotep brothers, I'm like, if I knew, I wouldn't even have gone on the platform. And even if I went on the platform, I wouldn't have greeted saying Hotep, because I'm like, this, and it's not everybody there, but when this is said and nobody says anything, I'm like, hey, what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. That has been going on for years. I mean, a lot of people low key have hate towards Kemetic people or Kemet. A lot of people low key have that, that disdain. They just don't like it at all. For them, it's cool if black people or African Americans are Muslims or Christians or Jews, Hebrews or Lights. That's normal to them. That's the norm. And when people start talking about Kemet, they feel some type of way. And the reality is that they are not familiar with it at all. They're familiar with the Abrahamic belief system. That's their paradigm. That's a reality. And what they have done is the easy switch of blackening those patriarchs, you know, and that's been what we've been doing for so long, you know. Now, a lot of black people have been talking about black Semites, you know. Frances Quest Welsing, who has transited a few years back, in her magnum opus book entitled The ISIS Papers, she wrote that Semites were half black because Semite derives from Semi, and Semi means half, you know. And back when I had a page recommending books, I did recommend her book, but I did put a note to say Semite does not derive from Semi, you know, not to throw shade, but just, I felt like I needed to make that correction. Then we have some brothers who've been claiming that the Semites were black, Mesopotamians were black, Sumerians were black. And I've been watching some videos from Mfudishi. He has knowledge of the Meta Nature. He's been teaching it. But on one of her museum tour that he did, and it might be the one where Rekiti Amin was present. He showed some depiction from Mesopotamia or Sumeria, and he stated that those people were black. That would be where I differ in opinion. You know, that's why I encourage people to watch a video entitled "White Semites Black Awakening." That's not the most entertaining video because I go through books and show depictions of the Sumerians slash Mesopotamians slash Akkadians, people of all those areas that we call the Levant or the Near East or ancient Near East, and we have their depictions. We have plenty of artifacts showing their physical appearance, and they clearly are of the Caucasian uh, uh, type. We can clearly see they were not white. And we have depictions of the sea people or Asiatics from Kemet, and we can see them side by side with the Kemetic people or ancient Egyptians, and we can clearly see that it's not the same skin tone, not the same color, not the same physical feature. A lot of people that we appreciate and that have departed have been talking that Black Semite stuff. But it's time to get real. And lately, what happened? I was talking to a Moor, and I started showing the standard of war. I mean, there's another video called Black Semites Shocking Revelation. And I've put Black Semites on purpose. Of course, I don't feel like the Semites were black. And on that video, I show the standard of war. You see, that's from the British Museum. Anybody can type in on any search engine, standard space of space UR. That's war. Standard of war, British Museum. You will see the date is circa 2500 BC, 2500 BC. That's 4,500 years ago. And you have their physical appearance of those so-called black-headed Sumerians. So when I show that, the Moor on his platform, I said, oh, well, you know, it shows the depiction to me. And he ended up, you know, to defend his premise of Black Semites, he ended up saying that Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden were melanated. And he confirmed that on Garfield's platform. I honestly thought that when Garfield called him and said, you know, I'm going to verify, I'm going to ask him. And if he says that, I'm going to curse him live on air. I thought that he would be like, oh, you know what, I was trying to say that. But, you know, when Garfield asked him, you know, the brother online, he said, you said that? Did you really say that? He replied, absolutely. And he said that, you know, he can debate about that, you know. So there's another dude who's anonymous and unidentified who clearly stated that, I mean, melanated is the same as saying black, you know, because for those who don't know, the Moors don't like to use the word black. But there's another guy, for the record, who's anonymous and unidentified, who trolls a lot on my channel, who clearly stated, you know, in the comment section that Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden was black. That he was even actually blacker than Haile Selassie. So isn't that spooky? But I guess people will use the term spooky for religious or spiritual matters, you know. But we have people teaching that kind of stuff, you know. And they will call it science. And then they will start talking about DNA. So it's been 1 hour and 57 minutes. I'm glad that the two brothers called in. We need more people to represent, but you know, I don't want to keep repeating the same stuff or during all my lifetime. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm doing what I got to do. I'm giving the middle lecture classes, you know, for those who are interested. It's not for everybody, but some are interested in, and I'm loving it. It's beautiful. It's lovely. You know what I'm saying? So stay safe, stay healthy, and if I'm allowed to buy the next channel, I will definitely holler back at you, Hotep.
Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving middle lecture classes, and here, that's the flyer. Okay, so those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video Kemet and Ma'at before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first meta lecture class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other meta lecture lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the meta lecture, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody's interested in learning the meta nature, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medu Neture classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how, involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class, and all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medu Neture class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/ma'atforever.